Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to PsychCandy for Wednesday, January 11th. I was um I was excited to get this show put together and scheduled. This is actually a brand new article I just finished, and so I'm excited to do that. Plus, today hopefully today hopefully starts back my normal track of being with you guys every day, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. So I hope that everybody has started off our 2023 absolutely lovely. You're doing the stuff that you want to do, making some goals, doing our thing. That's important. A lot of times I've heard a lot of people saying, yeah, well, it started off, but everything's kind of feeling the same. Well, guess what? It's going to feel the same until you make choices and make decisions for it not to be the same. It's all up to us. So what are we talking about today? Oh my God, did you hear? Yeah, rumors, gossip. We always want to have something to say, don't we? And then there's that one person sometimes it's in our friend group. Oh, they've got the dirt on everything and everybody. Sad part is that a lot of times that dirt it's not even true. Sometimes it's just made up, just stories. You know, look, we've all probably either dished out the juicy tidbits of information about others or have been on that receiving end of gossip yourself, right? Anything from a new haircut to life events to a new love interest, those all may be grounds for that gathering around the water cooler kind of conversation. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the did you hear about it details of another person's life. Let me tell you something. Those rumors are about you. Well, that's another story, isn't it? So let's take a closer look at exactly what gossip is. Like, what kind of person tends to engage in that behavior, and how to cope if you're on the receiving end. So first, let's define gossip. Now, I really love this definition. Gossip is sharing information, real or imagined, without permission. Now, when it comes to the rumor mill, both types of information sharing have the potential to be damaging. I mean, truly devastating depending on the gossip at hand. But take heart, because guess what? Some gossip might be advantageous. Let's dive into that a minute. How can gossip be good? Well, good information can achieve this point, but nastiness connects us too, right? But hearing of another person's misfortune as an example is kind of an example of the latter, where it's that nastiness that kind of connects. The problem is when the gossip goes too far. It can get to the point where perception becomes reality. And this is where we go into the destructive portion. But gossip can be positive when it involves spreading useful or important information. If you've ever been told, hey, your reputation precedes you, it's because people have heard gossip about you that winds up being beneficial, right? Like, consider the times maybe a supervisor or something like that may have told you, I've heard so much about how well you've been handling this project. Or when you meet someone who excitedly declares, oh, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so many good things about you. And people undoubtedly talked about you behind your back. But in these instances, it's in your favor, right? But then there's that flip. Unfortunately, most gossip falls into the bad category. People tend to spread rumors more so about negative events, such as someone who's getting a divorce or gained 50 pounds, and they are inclined to express supportive words about maybe a couple's marital situation, or joy for someone who lost weight. People tend to, they want to dive in and share the nastiness, share the negative, share the downplay. Immersion in negative gossip makes sense. I mean, after all, we live in a rumor-filled society. You got gossip columnists, you got magazines, you got shows that are simply dedicated to scandals and hearsays. So it's no surprise that gossip, particularly the negative, the juicy bits, well, that pervades our daily life. It's part of social media. That's sad, and it's damaging. What kind of person gossips, and why do they gossip? Now, if a person is commenting on your life in ways that are, rife with kind of those below the belt remarks and inflammatory, untrue statements, and doing these things while not approaching you to get details from the source, shows the lack of integrity and the cowardliness of that person. Cowardly behavior. A person's refusal to obtain information directly from the horse's mouth is straight a coward. A person of good moral character will go to the source. Those who don't are behaving in a very negative, destructive, cowardly manner. And such people tend to have a, well, because I can, or because it's simply just more fun for me this way. That's the mindset a lot of these people have. That's not good. And the thing is, sometimes we will be in a situation where we hear those negatives, or we hear something maybe about somebody that we know, and we guess, I don't think that's true. But yet, do we stand up to say anything about it? Are we standing up in that situation, making a voice, making it known, making it heard? Like, I don't agree with that. I've been, I have been the brunt of so much gossip, especially when you live in a small town, buddy. It's rampant. But see, I'm a confronter. I'm that person that will go and get. I'm going to go to the source. I will go and confront somebody who spreads gossip about me or even about somebody I know. I've confronted people sometimes about people I don't know. I'm like, is that true? Like, do you know this to be a fact? And is it your position to share it? Guess what? Most times, no, it's not. And then we have the insecurity empowerment feature. You got to remember that gossip or spreading rumors that empower an individual. Sometimes the gossiper may just be needy, enjoying the fact that they're privy to something that others don't know, even if it's made up. Therefore, they believe that people should feel lucky to know them, to receive their gossipy news. But too much, you'll never guess what I found out. That can backfire, my friends. Hearing gossip from someone can make you think that the person doing the gossip is not trustworthy and should be avoided, which makes sense, right? Like if they're sharing this supposed dirt on somebody else, or even somebody that they supposedly care about, or that's a friend, what are they going to do to you? The same thing. See, the problem is plenty of people just don't avoid. When you get into that scope of the gospel, what that it is a sadistic personality. There's a kind of emotional sadism that's rooted in gossip, especially if it's negative, where others enjoy knowing that someone else is experiencing a level of pain or just a downfall, which they're not. People tend to take pleasure in someone else's misery and delight that it's not happening to them, and such gossip is a sort of safe, vicarious sadism. That's destructive. And sometimes people don't think it's destructive for the person that's being gossiped about. There are plenty of times I've witnessed gossip going on and actually knew the person that was being gossiped about and knew that that person was not in an okay place personally. Those situations piss me off. Those are a lot of the situations I will confront in a way to just shut it down and squelch the person that's doing the gossiping because one, it's not their business. Two, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they don't have any of the facts straight. they're just they're gossiping to have something to say. You know, that makes that person a very shitty person. Gossip can bring about anxiety, uncertainty. Anxiety has been linked to gossip, and anxious individuals tend to be the ones who are more likely to spread rumors. Uncertainty plays a role too. When life feels out of control, spreading gossip seems to kind of put that feeling on the back burner. So when we don't have a firm grasp on how or why things are happening in the world, well, rumors tend to spread. Right? We got to assume something. We got to say something. And here's the part that a lot of people are surprised about, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. But do you know that it might surprise you to hear that gossip tends to be more classically associated with females. Now, unfortunately, the gossip from this demographic tends to lean more heavily towards, intentionally sharing wrong, false, or made up information for the sheer sake of casting someone into an unfavorable light, throwing somebody under the bus, whatever the case may be. And for the most part, women are the people who tend to engage in this kind of malicious, made up gossip. I'm not saying the guys don't do it too, but the larger demographic has been shown that more females do this. That's going to be another show. But it's also, you got to remember though, still, that gossip train, it's still a shallow, nasty position to take on. And be warned that it will backfire at some point. Then we got constructive personality, the classic emotions that tragedy inspires in an audience involve pity and fear. And these two emotions are also often central to gossip. You could take this back to even literary greats such as Othello, Macbeth, King Lear, where they speak about ambition, jealousy, narcissism. That illustrates that point. We have pity for the hero or heroine and fear that their experience might happen to us. This is gossip at its best. We feel sorry for the person it happened to and are fearful that it might happen to us, so we take care we take care that it doesn't, hopefully. This is when gossip is constructive. We cultivate pity and take precautions to avoid similar pitfalls. So I'm going to wrap this with some points for you. This is some tips to cope when you're in the midst of gossip, whether overhearing it or on the receiving end of it. So here's several ways to cope when people consistently head your way with the latest gossip or news. You know, so if gossip happy people frequently talk to you about others, number one, focus on the positive. Talk about the positive things you know about the person or people being gossiped about. This shift in perspective can change the actual gossip to a positive and an enlightening communication exchange. Number two, recognize gossip's impact on you. Express how gossip makes you think and feel. Not everyone agrees on the definition of gossip. But when gossip occurs, it can be subtle, even too subtle to decode. So if you recognize gossip, it may be because you are excited about maybe secret information being told to you, or because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Either way, recognize gossip and its effects on you. And if those are those moments that you get to speak up, say something. Number three, avoid gossip. As soon as gossip begins, leave the situation by saying, I'd love to chat, but I have another commitment. You leave the situation by not being in ear to earshot of that. But that also removes you from the situation. How many times have you been in a situation like, do you know what so and so said about so and so? Oh, you know what? Hey, go ask Deanna. She was there. Go ask Michelle. Or I saw Libby over there, so go ask Libby. She heard it. Yeah, you just got pulled into it because maybe you stayed in that situation where it was going on. Well, it's not good. I mean, in other words, you don't know. I don't have any. I ain't a part of that. Don't want to have any part of it. You're going to carry on your own way. Which is brings me to point four, which is confront gossip. Let the gossiper know you do not wish to hear what feels like gossip. Say that you're not comfortable. Change the topic. You know, if it's somebody you know, defend the person. I mean, especially if it's a friend of yours or something. Stand up. Do something about it. Number five, ask the gossiper how they're willing to help. In other words, turn a negative into a positive. So if the gossiper says something negative about a person, ask if they're willing to help that person. Perhaps asking what can be done to make this person feel part of the group, the family, or the work organization. Well, that's where we can turn around and shift it. Most times, the gossiper, they're not going to have anything to say to that. Because no, their intention of gossiping wasn't to help that person to begin with, was it? Usually it's to hurt them. And then finally, 2 points. If you're the one that's at the center of gossip, here's a few thoughts. Number one, address the gossiper. Go straight to the source and address it. You know, approach the person who is sharing real or imagined information about you without your permission, so that you both reach a deeper understanding of what is actually transpiring. If it's wrong information, set the record straight. And then finally, forget about it. You may just want to tell yourself to forget about it. And many times, especially when you're in a powerful position in the community or work, etc., people are going to predictably say bad things about you. If appropriate, depending on the situation, put it behind you and just let it go. The everyday life trick is not to care, to develop kind of that thick skin. Gossip is often done by small and petty people, and you don't want to come to their level. If you go after it, you're only feeding into it, which is what they want. But if you ignore it, you are starving them from their need to have a reaction. They are simply shitty people. And we can remove ourselves from those shitty people. Now, case in point, though, it's, in other words, you got to look at the situation for what it is. And again, I share from personal experience. I've had somebody share a very, just a made up negative gossip about me. And and I'm very active in this community. I mean, you guys know I do music, I do all kinds of. So I'm in a lot of these places all the time, all throughout the week. And that's the person. I had several people come up to me. They were friends, like, "Hey, so and so is saying blah blah." Well, I'm not going to go and talk to other people about it first. I went to the person doing the gossiping. I shut it down in a heartbeat and had witnesses when I did it. You know what I mean? You gotta take a stance like that sometimes to well to. And then there's been other times when I hear things and I laugh it off. I laugh about it and I ignore it and I just continue doing my thing. And so you have to take each situation for what it is. The bottom line is don't be a gossiper. Don't partake in gossip. And sometimes it's unavoidable, right? But you can always maintain and stand your course. Always maintain and just be firm with who you are. What kind of integrity do you hold? How much respect do you have for yourself and what you say? And the people around you or in your world or in your community that you support and defend, well, that's good. That holds into your caliber of person. Libby, Michelle, Deanna, thank you guys for being here. Everybody watching out in YouTube land and Facebook, thank you for being here. I hope you're able to pull something from this today. And again, I hope that your 2023 is starting off in the manner that you want it to. And if it's not, make a choice. You are the editor of your own life, and whatever chapter is going to come through for you for this year, it is your choice. It is your decision. And I wish everybody a blessed and amazing year this year. Do something that elevates you to levels over and above anything that you ever imagined. Anyway, guys, I look forward to being with you this week, and I will see you tomorrow at 11:30. Until then, be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, be you. Cheers.